Ooh. 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 Oh yeah, right. I was upstairs. I was thinking about my telephone conversation with Willie Ward and Keith Hawkins and Scouser and Tony. Anybody else? No. Oh, and I was thinking I shouldn't have said what I said. Like Keith, president of RCA, my arse. I said, people say silly things. They shouldn't say them. Upset people's feelings. So I apologise for that. I was upstairs, fucking really on a big guilt trip. Oh, what have I said? Oh, what am I going to do? And I was going to delete that previous video. I thought, I have to delete it. But the rest of the video is really good. Like all these funny things and guitar playing. And that would mean I'd have to delete it off Willie Ward's site, Willie Ward's account, delete it off Keith Harkis's account, delete it off Tony Farrington's account, and delete it out of my account. And I put it into vandalism because I like to make these videos. I like to make them like the alternative musician, alternative guitarist, meaning I don't have to do a song properly because I've always got like an opt-out clause, like play it, and if it's not perfect, just say, "Oh, I'm an alternative musician. I don't quite get it right all the time." Because if you get something wrong, it's kind of funnier, people think, man with that fucking guitar, he can't fucking play it, And and so like real musicians, people who go on stage and be playing a long time, they have to do it so perfectly, and it must take the fun out of it. And then they get on a high with it, with music and everything. But there's something about it, and it's not quite as good as comedy. I mean, music's like the second biggest drug there is. But the first biggest is comedy. Comedy has a much bigger. It's just does you good, doesn't it? Like I watch Frasier, American sitcom thing on TV every morning. It always makes me laugh. The script writers have got life off to a T, and they've got the kind of rivalry between all the characters, and the kind of mildly poking fun at each other and taking the piss out of each other, because they kind of get to know each other's failings and what they think they're good at, and the vanities, and the kind of big-headedness at times, and the dad's really good, because he kind of always has his sons sort of in line in a way. He kind of knows what a better fucking turds they can be. But it doesn't matter, because there's kind of, they all do things wrong and act stupid and get carried away with something and fall in love with the wrong person and all that. So I'm just putting this up to add to the one I did before, because I'm sort of inspired a bit now. But with me, I just try not to have like a format too much, because it can be a bit boring, like House of the Rising Sun, I play that on guitar, it's like, fucking hell, because it's a bit pedestrian, So it's different if you're playing to a crowd and they're already kind of on a buzz about the previous songs, and then I kind of go into that and it's kind of very sad or something, So music in a repertoire is basically about the audience and whatever's been sung about from minute to minute, which reminds me of Frasier again doing this. You're supposed to be doing a jingle for his show, and they just say the station manager just wanted it simple, like 15 seconds, bum 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 Frasier, bum 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 Frasier, bum 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 we help you, bum 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 Frasier, something like that. But instead, Frasier went into recording studio and he had loads of people, loads of musicians there, and they did like this big classical piece, and it was singing about all the ins and outs of Sigmund Freud and all this, and the station manager said, "No, that's not what we want. We want just like a little jingle." And Frasier's dad came up with a little jingle, and it was perfect. But you couldn't kind of place it, you see, because Frasier was kind of taking over and being overbearing, and he wanted it doing his way, and he wanted it for it's my show, and I want my music this way. And it was kind of long-winded and too complicated. And so eventually they're there, and Frasier's got champagne, trying to make everybody celebrate this wonderful classical sort of thing he'd done. And but the station manager, or like one of the managers, who was in control of this whole thing and the budget, he looks at his dad, and his dad looks back at him, he goes, I just want a little jingle, And so his dad says, oh, I did a little jingle. He says, no, really? Yeah, I did a little jingle. It goes like this, blah, 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 and he sings it. And the station manager says, wow, that's it. That's what we need, And of course, that's going to really deflate Frasier's ego, because he's not going to let go of this thing that he's composed. But the station manager's going to make him let go of it, you see. And really, that kind of sums up all life, everywhere where you work or whatever you think you're good at. Or, I did this well, and then they'll always replace you and get somebody else. That's why I like to do these, because nobody can really replace this. This is just me. This is just me telling you a bit of a story. Now, of course, I could pick up my guitar and start strumming something, but I can't be bothered because it's not really about the song. It's more about the communication and the laugh, about me upstairs thinking, oh, why did I say that to my friend? Oh, I just friended him, after 20 years. And I'm already making a little derogatory comment. And if he sees it, he'll think, take that fucking video off. And I'll get on that. I shouldn't say that, but that's what happens. So it happens on here. Everybody kind of puts things up, and then someone else says, I don't like that. Delete it. Or I'll block you. And that's what happens. Like on internet, you've got to be so careful what you say and to whom and in what spirit it's taken in. And a lot of things, a lot of arguments are with emails, because when you're emailing and typing to somebody, you kind of miswrite it. You write it in a bad way or make mistakes, and it starts to come across in a certain way, like a certain tone. And the person who's reading it starts to adopt an attitude that shouldn't be there. And so then you just start getting all this living conflicts going on. So that's the only reason I'm explaining that. Because I'm trying to fly on past that, move on past that. And back to my next piece. So obviously, it's not going to be scripted, it's just something you think about. I was really apologising for saying, well, I shouldn't have mentioned it so much, should I? You might not have even noticed it. Now, you see, now it's getting like a Frasier sketch where, I've mentioned it 3 times, now people are going to focus in on that part. And the negative, instead of seeing all the other things that were quite funny, I was singing that song by Bowie, with your long blonde hair and your eyes of blue. I don't know why it came up, it just comes out of your subconscious, I don't plan it. And from there, it just reminds you of something. Of course, we were thinking about being back at that Polytechnic and on the beach in the south of France. And we never seemed to have any problems. Because we had nothing to lose. We had nothing. We all had just a little bit of money. And there was no career involved or rivalry at work or all that kind of crap. So, in the main, we all kind of got on, selling ice creams and donuts. And then, of course, I did the Pink Penseur. I'll do it again just because why not? So there's a second bit to it. It goes. So you can tell that that tune, I could work on it, you know, I could keep working at it and like get it into 3 chords with that lead guitar being more or less the same but going higher up and into another position. And that's why I do these videos like this, because then it might start making the Pink Panther crystallise in a different way, and so then I work out another way of playing it, and then I'll check it on internet, listen to Pink Panther again and think, then you have to study it, you have to write down the notes or work it out in sections and work out how it really goes to be able to play it perfectly. But it ain't something you just do, you know, it's something that can take a long time. But a trained musician can normally pick it up fairly quick, but they still have to study it for quite a long time, you know. So there. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I know why I thought of this as well. I was thinking about Keith Arcus being up in Durham, and of course there's that old joke, isn't there, about Durham. People say, "Oh, Durham, you mean Durham, 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 Dum, dum, Durham, Durham, Durham." So I might call this one Durham, or is it Durham, 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 Durham. La 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 la. Ah 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 ah. Ciao.